Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to talk about the Lakers and the Timberwolves, in particular Game 3. We're going to talk about the adjustments that the Lakers made, and then the adjustments that the Timberwolves made to try and essentially counteract that to make sure they were able to have good offense, good defense. Let's go. Let's start with the Lakers on offense just for one thing. And the first is that in Game 2, they conceded this switch lot. They let Rudy Gobert take on Luka. And towards the end of this game, that was the main way that the Lakers were getting clean looks. By simply just conceding this switch, you allow Luka to be with a player that's much slower than him, and Luka was trying to take advantage of that every single opportunity that he got. This is the very next possession after this, and notice who's not on the floor for the Timberwolves, Rudy Gobert. So the solution for the Timberwolves were, well, if they're going to attack Rudy, at some point we're just going to take him out. And so, I guess that is technically effective. All right, so then moving to the Timberwolves on offense. So the thing here that we talked about biggest is that the Lakers are aggressive help defense. We can see Luka right here. See every player on defense from the Lakers is focusing towards Anthony Edwards. And so we were curious, or I was curious if the Timberwolves were going to have any solution to that. We see aggressive help. LeBron is in front. You still have this defender, and you have other defenders that are sagging down as well, making it so Anthony Edwards has to earn everything. And frankly, when this occurred, I still think that this worked pretty well for the Lakers into forcing bad possessions. Towards the end of the game, they even ended up trapping out here. And I frankly think that this didn't work very poorly as well. I think Anthony Edwards' mentality is definitely drive first. And so I think this kind of feeds into him. If you can force him into that drive first mentality, it kind of like plays into your cards a little bit if you're able to provide help. However, I would say the Timberwolves had essentially two major solutions to this, and the first one is going to be in transition. So the Timberwolves are an extremely athletic team, especially when you have McDaniels, Edwards, Naz Reid, and Julius Randle. They're all pretty athletic, and so if you can attack early in transition, you're going to get better looks than if the defense is set up. They seem to have a much bigger emphasis on trying to attack in transition, even if it wasn't directly like in transition. This kind of like off transition, and so if you have it where it's the 5-on-4 right here, simply moving the ball to try and get one player with the athletic edge coming downhill, and that again just leads to good shots if you're able to attack it early before the defense is able to get back in full rotation. And we're talking about more about McDaniels here in a second, but I think that he was obviously a critical role in this. But again, we have 5-on-4 here momentarily. Somebody's down over here, I don't know who it is, but Anthony Edwards says, I'm going to attack it immediately and go straight at him, and you're more likely to get fouls, more likely to get layups. That's exactly what you want if you're the Timberwolves. But then the biggest thing was going to be that somebody else was going to have to carry a load for the Timberwolves. Somebody else was going to have to be able to get open layups. And I think they went to this quite a bit, is they didn't want, especially McDaniels, to settle for threes on the perimeter. They wanted him to attack downhill because, he's still a good offensive player. And because you're going to have more attention on Anthony Edwards, that means you're going to have an easier advantage, you simply trying to drive. And he did a tremendous job this game. And here's actually a perfect example of it. We can see Ant up here, and he's got the shade. Like obviously the defenders are focused on him. So if you can do a quick swing one way and have McDaniels now attack this open space, that provides a lot of opportunities, especially with Austin gambling there. Probably shouldn't have gambled in the first place. But if he's able to finish those consistently, that bodes extremely well for the Timberwolves. And then our last example, the same thing. Anthony Edwards obviously swarmed here in the middle, but able to kick the ball out to McDaniels. And again, I think in Game 2 or Game 1, McDaniels might have settled for this three right here, but instead chooses to drive as the defense is trying to recover, and it leads to a pretty clean look. And so by and large, I think the Timberwolves did a great job having McDaniels, Conley, Randle, etc. drive and to create open shots, and then also using transition to find open looks. But that being said, I actually do think a lot of the shots they made were extremely contested that maybe they don't make at the same percentage that they would in the future. But that being said, it did work extremely well in Game 3. It was still a high-scoring game and still fairly competitive. So I am curious to see how Game 4 goes. I think this series is going to go pretty far down to the wire. It's tough, but I do still favor the Lakers just slightly. But that being said, I think it's going to be a great, great series. If you enjoyed, feel free to like and subscribe. And most importantly, have a blessed rest of your day.